Well, welcome to the Week 7 recording for C++ programming. And you can see that Week 7 goes February 18th through 24th. And Week 7 is a program called Visual Hello World. Now, the nice thing about this as we move into using Windows tools to create programs is that the forms and the work is so much quicker than what we were doing previously with the coding. So I think you're going to find that this goes really fast, and the nice thing about it too is it will allow you to get makeup work done. I'm just fixing a typographical error I had in that one line there. So in week 7 into project 6 called Visual Hello World, you can see obviously you'll watch the recording, you'll do the write-up, and then you're going to go through this. Only has 3 labs, and they're fairly short labs, so you'll do all of this to design buttons and windows and a form. Then you'll do the quiz. Make sure you use the quiz preview. I always have those posted, you know. So the quiz preview I'll have posted over here for you. And then, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, starting with week 4, we do not do the assignments anymore. So assignment 6 now, if you click on it, all it tells you to do is to do the Hello Visual World project. It does not have the extended project, the extra work to do. So hopefully you got that message the last 2 weeks and you realize that. And here's an information on required assignments. Take a look at that. Passing plan, just want to revisit that. So you can go right here to the passing plan and see the work that you need to do in order to pass the class. So I hope you do that. All right, jumping into project 6. And the first thing you want to do always is to look at the Class Connect write-up. So what is the new project type we'll use in this unit? 3 things Windows form projects use, and do Windows form projects have more or fewer files than console projects? So here's what you're going to create. You're going to create a button that you click and then it prints Hello World on the screen. So pretty easy, but you'll see how simple the interfaces are to create these things and how you could customize this if you wanted to. So again, this is the project you'll be doing. And it's a pretty basic flowchart for this. It just shows the window, user clicks on the Say Hello button, and then the message Hello World pops up. Pretty basic, isn't it? Now you're going to be doing a forms project, so you're not going to be opening console like you did before. So make sure you follow these directions exactly, but still open up C++ the same way you always have. And we're going to be using the Windows interface. And of course, Windows interface can use windows, buttons, menus are 3 of the things that it can use. So if I go to the write-up, it says what are new type of project, the new project types we will use. That's on page 1. Let me go back to page 1. And the new project type we're going to be using is called Windows Form Project. So that's the new project type we're using. It is a Windows Forms project. In Windows Forms projects, they include tools such as windows, buttons, and menus. So those are the things that you use with this, that you use to create these projects. So again, right here, windows, buttons, menus, etc. And it's going to have the Windows interface. Now, we were doing console before, remember, where you had to type in the information, but now it would be Windows interface where you just click to make things happen. Let's go back to the write-up to see where we are on this. So I answered those 2. And then, do Windows projects have fewer or more files than console? So you're going to create the Windows Form project. So follow these directions exactly. File, new, CLR, Windows Forms application. Remember we did console application before, but Windows Form application. When you click on that, then you need to change the name to visual_hello_world. Browse button. Then you go and save it where you've been saving, under your username and all of that. So save everything in the right place. Do all this stuff and it'll work out fine. Now the workspace looks a little bit different. Console, we have the white workspace when you do your coding. In Windows Form projects, we have the white space. We also have a little program box that you'll work in. That's where you'll see the work that you're doing in the programming tools. And you'll save files too. Now when we did work before with C++ in the console, we just had a single CPP file that we would save. We have many, many more files that get created when we're doing this work because the CPP files are embedded within. So obviously you'll see that with Windows Forms, there are many more files that you have to save as opposed to the console. But again, just go right through these steps to get everything saved, and you'll end up saving these files all at once. So make sure you do that exactly. So you end up saving all those files. It's going to check your work, so it's going to have you go on the debug menu, follow these directions, don't exit out of your program, you'll keep wanting to work on it. You shouldn't have any bugs because you haven't done anything. Interacting with your window, what they want you to do is just practice with this a little bit. So you can see you're going to in the Windows form right here. This is called form number 1. You can do a variety of things to it. So you can minimize it, maximize it, all kinds of things. Drag it. It just gives you a handle on how you're going to work these windows. Now oftentimes you might have 3 or 4 forms going at the same time. So that's why they let you want you to know how you can drag them around. So you created the Windows Form project, saved it, and you explored how you can move around the window. Now moving on into Lab 2, we're going to add a button. So let's go to the write-up. And the write-up says, explain the process Visual Hello World program goes through. How's the work process using forms different from coding we did previously? Okay, so now we're in buttons. So you're going to go open the Hello World project if you don't have it open. So you go all the way down to it. And you double click on Hello World, double click again, and then you get into the VCC project, just like you've done previously. So when you're working in forms, you can click and drag items onto your project instead of writing everything down. So it's click and drag interface. You just click the form, drag it to where you want to work on it. So if I go back to the Class Connect write-up, and actually this Visual Hello World program, the process it goes through is that it gives you a button on the screen, you click on it, and then it says Hello World. That's the process that it goes through. So page 3, the question, how's the work process using forms different from console coding? Well, in Windows Forms, you just click and drag the items that you want to use, and you drag them to where you want to work. So if I go back to here, you just click and drag the items into your project. Instead of writing code, you click and drag into your project. Now once you begin this, then you have tools that you can use. So you click on Toolbox and you'll see a number of tools, a pointer, a button, a checkbox. So these are the tools you can add in. And think of when you use Windows programs, sometimes you see buttons, sometimes you see checkboxes and all of that, right? So if we go back to the Class Connect write-up, it said, how's the toolbox useful for programmers? Well, the toolbox shows you all the tools you'll be able to use to create Windows forms. So the toolbox shows you everything you'll be able to use to create your forms. You've all used buttons, so here's some sample buttons on different things. And a button allows a person to interact with a program. So a button allows a person to interact with the program or interact with the application. That's all a button does. Now you're going to add a button. So you'll be in the form, then you go to the toolbox, click on the button, and just drag it right over to your form. Then you go down to the properties to do different properties to the button. You're going to put some text in it. So you're going to put the word say hello in the text of that button. Then you're going to give it an action. So pretty simple to create these things. Let's go back to the write-up, see what that says. What do buttons usually do? We said that. What purpose does a message box serve? Okay. So on page 7, a message box gives the user a message. Pretty easy, right? Message box gives the user a message. Tells the user what to do, doesn't it? So that's what a message box is for. So now you're going to create a message box. And there's a little bit of code. You can see the coding right there. And it's visual rather than putting the count command. Remember, we used to have to put the count command? Well, here we're just going to program the button to make the button do what we want it to do. So you do have to type in this coding. So you're going to type in the coding, message box, show the words hello world. So you can put in all kinds of words. If you want to, you can put, hello Mr. Harrison, and then when they click on it, then you have them have hello Mr. Harrison show up if you want to. So you can do all kinds of things. Real easy doing this type of coding. So go through this, bug it, debug it, click the say hello button, message box will appear. So make sure yours looks exactly like this looks. And of course, the thing about this, we haven't put all this stuff in, have we? It happens automatically. So look at what all the time we're saving on doing this work. So we added a button, we created a message box that appears when the button is clicked. Now moving into Lab 3. Let's see what Lab 3 says. Lab 3, what is the code to change the background color of an item? Explain how you can change the size of a button. Okay, Lab 3. So you're going to open your program. Hopefully you have it open already. You're going to change the window title first. So you get into the form, the Say Hello form that you've been working on. We haven't changed the name of it, we just call it Form 1. So work through all of this. So you're going to change the words that show up. So you change the title window. Now we're going to change the color. So if you look at this, you're going to go into the form that you created, and you have all these different things you can change under form. Look, the background image, the back color, what the cursor looks like, all of this. Now the command to change the background color is called back color. That's the Class Connect write-up question. So you can see this one changed the background color to a red. So it's called back color is the code for that, or the command for that. Now changing the font. Of course, the font is the writing. So it could be the type of writing, like the typeface. It could be the color of the writing. So you can see what this person's doing, changing the font to Microsoft Sans Serif. And you can get a preview down here of what it might look like. Change the size of it. Once you select your new font, there it is. That's what that person changed it to. And obviously your buttons, you can resize them, put them where you want. So you click on the button and then just drag Drag these white squares, they're called handles. So drag those handles to where you want them. You could also, with the four-way arrow right here, you could drag the say hello button wherever you want. But by dragging these handles, dragging the white handles is how you change the size of the button. And I mention that because that's the Class Connect write-up question. How you change the size of a button? Well, grab the white handles and change the button to whatever size you want. You can also resize the window. Click anywhere in the window, you'll get the white handles or the white squares. This doesn't show them. You can grab it any way you want. You can change the size of the window. Move the button, pretty easy to do. Once you click on the button and it's active, then you get the four-way arrow. So you just click and drag that button to wherever you want. Check your work, save it. And of course, once you run it, once you debug it, then you're going to get the exe file like you did before, and you're going to go in and zip your Hello Visual World or Visual Hello World folder, and you'll submit that Visual Hello World folder to me. That's all the work you have. So we changed, in this unit, we changed the window tile, the background, moved buttons, resized buttons, did all of that. That's all you will do on this. So in this project we used Visual C++ and did all of this different work. And as I said, you're not going to do this challenge assignment. Challenge assignment was a riddle activity, but this is so simple to do. You can do that if you want to. Make sure you give it a different name, like call it riddle or something. But when you go down to assignment 6, you're not going to see our typical assignment. This just tells you to turn in the hello world. So that's all I have for you. And I don't have the quiz preview posted. I'll get that posted for you. But that's all I have. I look forward to your work coming in. Bye.